Stalin's economic policies. Industrialisation, the 5-year plan. Reasons and objectives. Political, to create a proletarian economy and ensure the survival of the revolution, and there is a need for a growth in the size of the proletariat and the need to break the power of the peasantry. Military, fear of foreign invasion after the war scare in 1927 with the massacre of Chinese communists and assassination of Soviet ambassador to Poland. Economic, the failure of the NEP and the grain crisis in 1927 over to 28. Personal reasons, to strengthen his position in the party by attacking the right who supported the NEP. Pressure, there was pressure from Bolshevik party rank-and-file communists who wanted removal of kulaks, the removal of the netmen and the removal of the bourgeois experts. The policy. The Gosplan, the State Planning Commission, was set up to coordinate and set targets. The first 5-year plan, 1928 to 32, had an emphasis on heavy industry, coal, iron and steel. The second 5-year plan, 1933 to 37, put a more emphasis on consumer industries, but late 30s, more emphasis on arms production. Third 5-year plan, 1938 onwards, geared towards arms production to meet Nazi threat. Industrialisation depended on modernisation of agriculture. The two policies were interdependent. Results. Success. It transformed the USSR into a major industrial power. The expansion of Soviet Russia's older industrial areas such as Moscow and Leningrad, and new industrial centres were created such as Magnitogorsk and Gorky. There was 1,500 power station factories and metalworking companies were built during the first 5-year plan. Some aspects of industry saw major growth: coal production, chemical industry, energy industry and iron ore production. Coal, 1928, 36 million tonnes produced, and in 1937 there's 130 million tonnes produced. By 1937, 80% of industrial output came from the factories built since the start of the first 5-year plan. Thousands of miles of railways and canals were built, led to growth in industrial proletariat, grew by 38% between 1926 and 33, so it strengthened the position of communism. 100 new towns were built. Incentives to encourage workers, such as new flats and bigger rations, were introduced. Stakhanov was used as an example of a modal worker. In a 6-hour shift he had cut 102 tonnes of coal when his target had been 9 tonnes, led to the Stakhanovite movement, which tapped into the enthusiasm of young workers. It was the development of new industrial bases east of the Ural Mountains which made it possible for the USSR to withstand the Nazi invasion from the west. Failures. Unrealistic targets set. Failed to achieve targets led to accusations of lack of commitment and sabotage, which in turn led to corruption, bribery and fiddling of the figures. The Shakti trial of 1928 saw 53 engineers were accused of wrecking industrial equipment and 5 were executed. The Mechvich trial of 1933 saw Britons working in Russia were among those accused of sabotage. High targets led to obsession with quantity over quality. Wool cloth in millimetres. The goal in 1932 was 270 million, but the actual achievement in 1932 was 93.3 million. Textile industry declined and oil industry did not do well. Poor living and working conditions, poor safety and limited training and low pay in the factories. The passport system introduced in 1932 to stop workers leaving industries. 1939, absenteeism became a criminal offence. Absenteeism was defined as being 20 minutes late without good reason. The use of slave labour from labour camps was needed. The Stakhanovite movement also caused tension, as the drive to succeed could cause disruption. There is evidence of some tinkering with the machines to improve output. This could cause machine breakdowns and accidents.